What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we'll be taking a look at a title called One Lonely Outpost. This is a game that has had a number of demos rattling around over the course of years, and this is also a game that's had like a lineup change, as I understand it. Like it swapped developers like midway through, and so this one just recently went up on early access sale on Steam, so I figured we should probably take a look at the first 45 minutes or so and see if it's something that we wanted to get involved with. Along the way, I'll be doing my best to give you my impressions of the game. You can find a link to it down below in the description. You can also find a link to my Twitch stream, where I'm going to be spending a lot more time over the course of the coming weeks. And then, of course, you'll be able to find my Discord, which I ping whenever I go live on Twitch, because Twitch's notifications are hot, ridiculous, smelly, slimy garbage. Let's go ahead and dive on into One Lonely Outpost. We will start a new game. As I understand it, this is a game about terraforming a planet, so it exists somewhere in between, like, Planet Crafter and Stardew Valley, I guess. We'll see how it plays out. Pretty good production effects so far. Looks pretty good. That doesn't seem right, does it? Toxic air, no life. We followed the coordinates. Been on autopilot for most of the time. Why would they, Did our kitty bot just get wrecked? Oh, its name is QWERTY. Gotcha. Sorry about that, buddy. Not sure what just happened. Ship malfunction, radiation, electromagnetic waves, frying receivers. Weird, but too little too late. Look outside. I think we're here. Landing looked a little rough. A little hard on the old suspension. It's a bit of a rough, bit of a rough landing, but at least we're still intact. Yeah, but you guys roasted the computer, man. Now I can't play video games and shirk my responsibilities. Crap, terminal's broken. We can't buy supplies until we get it fixed. Alright, well, we're going to have to figure it out later. So we've made it. Welcome to our new home. We've come a long way, but hopefully it'll be worth it. The PGP wouldn't send us all the way out here if it was a complete waste of time. Yeah, when would employers ever send you out to go do something that's a complete and total waste of time? That's not a thing that employers do. Don't answer that. I'm trying to stay helpful. Whatever happens, at least your tracks are going to be right next to my footprint. So let's go and see what the PGP sent us here to do. Yo, put on a helmet, man. You can't just walk outside. They said toxic air. Okay, he put on the helmet. Animation looks pretty good. Fairly happy with the way that it looks. It looks like they've got like 8 different directions for the sprite, so that looks pretty solid. We've also got control schemes over here, so we've got mining lasers, matter manipulators, omni tools, gusts. Okay, so we've got like a bunch of different abilities, and it looks like we can kind of like swap in between them. Okay, so we've got a number of different tools here that we've started out with. Everything from water sprayers to mining lasers to things of that nature. Our first task, like the UI too, looks pretty good. Your ship reports a safe landing on Calypso. As Star Steward, you were tasked with establishing a colony on this new world. Congratulations on your first expedition. The Calypso falls under jurisdiction of the Pan-Galactic Parliament. The PGP is entitled to share profits resulting from all human ventures on the planet. Failure to comply will result in the revocation of your title of Star Steward as outlined in Section 43, so on and so forth. We will provide resources to ensure that the colony flourishes. For instance, we are giving you the Omninac. It gathers information about flora and fauna you may encounter. Your first task is to cultivate the land. All colonies need a source of food. Research your surroundings and clear the area of debris in order to begin farming. Okay, let's go ahead and we will mining laze it on up. Okay, looks all right. The Omninac is now teaching us about archaeology and apparently geology, so that's good. Let's get some of these rocks up and out of the way. Hey, we got some kind of like star or like currency or something. I don't know exactly what we've got, but we've got something right there. It's geology omni stars is what it wants me to get. Do you get like an omni star for each new thing you discover? I think that's what it is. So whenever you get like a new discovery, they kind of like add a star to your counter, and then I'm guessing we're going to use those stars as some kind of like XP or currency to buy new things. Heat ice crystals to refill your spray tool. Oh, I had no idea. All right, well, that's good to know. We also have this gusty tool over here. It looks like we can use that to blow dirt around, although why you would want to do that, I don't really know. It wants me to look for sand mounds, and it wants me to, I think that's one right. Is that a sand mound? It is indeed a sand mound. We found a milkroot seed. So yeah, we found milkweed in space. Good for us. Nothing underneath that one right there. We don't have a sprint. Like, I decided to kind of like tentatively fan the shift key just to see what would happen. Unfortunately, nothing done happen. Maybe we get an upgrade later that allows us to move a little bit quicker. Any more dust mounds around here? What is that right there? I have no clue what this is. Appears to be something. An old beat-up data log, part 1 of 9. These databads used to be the storage format, just like VHS. Ah, VHS, using the power of pornography to defeat Betamax. Look at you innovating, being the inferior technology, yet somehow beating out the better technology, largely due to the fact that people like nudity. Tends to be the way it goes. That's why Blu-ray won, too. Looks like we got something else right there, like some parts or something. Now we just need to make like one more archaeology discovery, and I think we'll actually be able to move on. I was looking around to see if there was a way to make the UI smaller. The game has like a catastrophically huge UI, and so I was hoping it would have some kind of integrated UI scaling folded on into the options, but unfortunately that does not appear to be the case. We kind of just have to deal with the fact that the UI takes up a disproportionately enormous amount of the screen. Well, we made our archaeological discovery, but unfortunately I'm like starving to death now. We've got a blueprint for a metal smart locker. We've also got an Omnipot. Okay, dude, I want to hit that Omnipot. Let me know. I'm sorry, but if I walk into the dispensary and I see something called the Omnipot, I'm like, well, I'm going to have to buy at least one of those. I mean, add it to the cart. Why not? I tried to till the soil, but I'm guessing the planet is too barren for us to do that right now. I guess I'll go back inside and sleep till tomorrow. It seemed to imply that that's what it wanted me to do. We've got a little meter up at the top of the screen that's got to be babysat, and so it looks like we are pre-season right now. And we're also going to be building a colony, so it's got like the number of people around here. I wonder if that's going to take more of a Stardew Valley approach, or is it going to take more of like a RimWorld approach, I guess. So like, are these guys just going to be little methods by which we produce more stuff? Or are they going to be, you know, like actual characters with names and things? Sort of curious. All right, so the company has supplied me with a delivery pad over here. And it looks like it is full of dirters, and it is full of a number of other things. So we've got carrots, we've got potatoes, and we've got like leeks or something right there, whatever that might be. And so now it wants me, oh, the fertile soil is darker. Okay, so that makes sense. I can't grow anything. Like, I've been trying to do like a garden and like get a hobby or something for a while now. Unfortunately, my entire backyard is covered in this stuff called caliche, which is like a really crappy, silty kind of clay. My house is built on top of like an ancient prehistoric riverbed, basically. And so, unfortunately, it's not super great for growing things because the little rooties, they try to go down into the ground and they try to find like a spot to be. But once they've done that, the roots can't go deep enough with that caliche in the way, just sucking all of the moisture and everything else out of the soil. All right, so carrots. Get yourself on into the ground. It looks like I'm actually going to need to do a lot of planting here. Kitty bot, you're in the way. Kitty bot, move that kitty butt. Can you just like, yeah, kitty bot, come over here. Go away. There we go. Kitty bot, you're awesome, but right now you're kind of being a nuisance. Making this very difficult on me. Tilling wasn't too bad. Felt totally kind of... It's like at the same speed you walk. Like, it felt tactile. Like, it felt fine to me. Like, you can walk, and you can just walk in a straight line, and it'll tilt the ground. It doesn't get, like, confused or anything about it. So that's good. And the walk rate seems to match up with the speed at which it tills soil. I need to get you out of the way. Unfortunate. Well, I can't seem to get the ice crystal out of the way. So, instead, we're just going to kind of, like, spray all this right here. There we go. I like that spray effect right there. That looks pretty good. I'm so alone in space. Well, obviously, the air's not that toxic if the plants can breathe it. I mean, I suppose it's probably more effective to do this way. There we go. And then we got to use the mining laser to refill our water meter. There we go. Water meter's all nice and refilled. And the most effective way to do this seems to be to do it like so. It looks like the watering rate also matches up with the walk speed that the game has given you. So that's good. We have a new task. And so inside my new task, we have balanced meal. I brought nutrient paste with me. It's in the storage unit. Okay. They also want me to reach various coordinates, I guess. Kitty. Oh, nice, dude. There's our little... I mean, they look terrible. They look absolutely abysmal. I don't want to eat them, but, like... I suppose we'll do what we have to do in order to get by. It gave me, like, a little bit of energy back. So they want me to survey the farmstead. So we hit coordinate 1. Let's go see if we can find coordinate 2 around here. I'm kind of impressed. I mean, I'm always a sloppy sucker for this, chat. I've talked about it in the past. But I just love games that are 3D with 2D overlaid sprites. I've loved them since Grandia, and I can't help myself, all right? This is like the finest type of graphic design, is where you've got very charming 3D in the background, but you've got nice 2D in the foreground. I don't know why I fall for this, but I fall for this every single time without hesitation. It's just one of my favorite graphical styles. I think it's because it takes me back to the days of the PSX. This was a very highly utilized style of art in video games when I was 13 or 14 years old. Okay, so when you scout out geographical points, it unlocks pieces of the map. Gotcha. Is that a dead pixel right there? There's like 1 pixel right there. It's coming through on the video, so it's not my monitor. Why is there 1 pixel right there? I tried to, like, I flicked my monitor for a second. I was like, is that a dead pixel? Man, I just got this monitor, dude. It didn't seem like there was much else to do, so I went ahead and I just, like, slept. Oh, cool, we're, like, unpacking things. Nice. We're starting to get settled on in. We got little chairs for us and the kitty. You feel that ground shaking? I mean, that works out okay. That's not necessarily the outcome that I thought was going to happen, so that's good. Looks like we can cross over now. I wonder where it goes. Okay, so it wants me to survey the Nerid Canyon. I don't know how to pronounce that word. I've seen that word before, but I don't think I've ever heard that word spoken out loud by a human being, so you'll have to forgive me. Either way, we need to water our craps real fast, so let's get on in here. Hopefully there's enough water to make it down the edge of the row. There was indeed. We will mine a little bit of ice real quick to fill up our water tank. And then right back to the business. Alright, that's pretty much the only thing that we needed to get accomplished for right now. I wouldn't mind the idea of knocking out some of these stones to make this area more farmable and more useful. Oh, we can get the big rocks too. I like the series of degradation they have going on. That's kind of cool. There's sort of like a sequence of the rocks falling apart that makes me happy. I'm also going to point out that I think they've selected their sound effects pretty well here. Like, these are very clunky, like, noisy rock-breaking sounds. And the ice sound... that also sounds pretty good to me. I like it a lot. So what's up with the question marks, man? Huh. Does it just mean there's like a discovery? Like I need to go look at it and it's like charting the phases of growth or something? Who knows? It wanted me to right-click on them. One thing I will say is the game doesn't give you a whole lot of guidance on how the controls work. Like you gotta right-click on stuff to inspect it. And then sometimes when you're inside the menus and whatnot, like the tooltips take a really long time to pop up on some of these, and sometimes they don't pop up at all, and so you're definitely going to want to tighten that up inside the UI, because I thought that the items seriously did not have a description, because I couldn't get the pop-up to come up like a few minutes ago. I edited it out, but like I couldn't seem to get the pop-ups to come up. What is that? Is that like a laser gate? What is that? Like a stairwell down into a dungeon or something? Here's our first coordinate. Oh, there was just the 1 point. All right, well, now we know about the canyon, I guess. What is this thing right here? It's got, like, shiny flecks in it, dude. Is it worth monies? You also can't mouse over stuff in your toolbar down. There it goes. Eldricite ore. Yeah, it seems like sometimes it's very, very reluctant to have contextual pop-ups happen. And then you've got to like mouse off and then mouse back on, and then they'll pop up that time around. All things that need to be tightened up a little bit during the course of the game's early access. I think it's just frozen water from what it looks like to me. Looks like we also have another little direction we can go over here. Is that like copper ore? It's got to be. It's got that green, it's got that verdigris. If you want to sound super fancy, you know what oxidation of copper is called? It's called verdigris. That's what that's called, that green color right there. It's called verdigris. And so the next time you see something green, you'd be like, oh, yeah. That's a very pleasant verdigris that plant is wearing. And then everybody'd be like, whoa, this guy's super smart. He knows $5 words and how to be pretentious on cue. I have no clue what I just picked up right there. Palisite, apparently. But I spent a day or so just kind of doing generalized scouting and walking around the zones. For right now, there doesn't seem to be anything that visually sort of makes the zones distinct from one another. But then again, we're on kind of like a death world that has nothing good about it, and we're trying to terraform it. So it's possible that those features may show up later on in the game that make these places feel a little bit more distinct. Nonetheless, I cleared out this. They said this down here is where we're going to be building a colony. They gave me an order to go down there and just walk around in between 3 points, so I went ahead and did it. So far, a bit of a slow burner, though. Like, not a game that hits the ground running by any means. So it looks like the next day they've decided to introduce us to the fabricator, which is an object we're going to be using to make all of our smelters and, you know, doing the crafting stuff, all right? Where would indie gaming be today if it weren't for all the crafting stuff? So it looks like we've got lockers. We need to make the forge, though, and that's going to require, looks like iron, aluminum, and eldricite, which is made up. This should be the bauxite right here, because I've seen bauxite in real life. And actually, weirdly enough, they've got it kind of looking like what it looks like in real life. So that's good. It's clear someone Googled a picture. What does bauxite look like? So that's kind of what it looks like. Yeah, I saw it amongst all the other rocks out here and instantly thought to myself, yep, there's the bauxite. So that's a good sign. We've got a little bit of iron over here. And then I don't know how much more we need, but I'll just take you over to the forge once we're ready to make this thing. Forge is done. There we go. So the forge has been knocked out. They need to be inside of range of a power source, so it's obvious here that we're going to need to figure out how to manage some kind of, like, power system. Do I have, like, a separate oh, there it is right there. I was going to say, where did my Omni Forge go? I guess we'll just drop him right there, and this guy will allow us... It's basically a smelter. You throw in, like, iron, and then it looks like it comes out something. It looks like it actually carbonizes the iron all on its own. It goes in iron and comes out steel. So you love to see it. Chances are, though, I think we're going to need like 2 or 3 of these, because it takes a while for this dude to process like one ore. Like, it definitely takes its sweet time. So if we're going to be processing like 3 different types of mineral and like ore over here, we're probably going to need to have like 4 to 5 of these if we really want it to work properly. I went to sleep and we had a dream. Or are we dreaming right now? Yeah, it's been hard to keep smiling lately. Tell you what, let's take a break. Just us, hollow fire, stars. You think we made a mistake? When I took this job, I was expecting the PGP to, you know, help. I knew it was going to be hard, but I figured somebody'd be helping us. I can't believe their idea of support is a defective starship and some seeds. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? When I look out into the dark, I swear to God, it's looking back at me like I don't feel safe. I feel insignificant, like space dust circling. I've got bad news for you. That's exactly what you are. Every single one of us. None of this matters. The universe doesn't care. The game does seem to be missing little details. Like, so they sent me an email that said that, like, QWERTY set up, like, a relaxation area, but it doesn't look like you can sit down on the chairs or, like, kick it over there like we were doing in the previous cutscene, which seems like a missed opportunity. Like, I've always maintained that little things like that are the part that matters most about getting people immersed with your game and getting them excited about going to, like, the next day and, like, advancing time and whatnot. Go ahead and water our crops real quick. But it doesn't look like I can actually make use of the thing that they specifically pointed out that they installed. Which is like, okay. I guess it's set up like that nighttime cutscene or that dream or whatever it was. But simultaneously, I would like to be able, even if it does nothing, being able to sit in it would be kind of cool. Suppose the next thing to do would just be to look and see what kind of stuff that we can make. So I've already got a fabricator. We don't really need to worry about that. We also have a silver crate over here for belongings. It looks like our pets sleep inside of it or something. We've got a junk sign. We also have an omnipot over here. I don't know what an omnipot does, but I just made a couple of them. I'm guessing it allows me to, like, plant in areas that normally you would not be allowed to plant in. Can I put seeds inside of these? I need to till the soil first. I'm going to go ahead and guess that that's not what those are used for then. I don't know what the omnipots are for, but they do block collisions, so you can't, like, step over the little tiny cupcake-sized pot. Not allowed to do that. It's against the rules. All my activities for the day appear to be done, and there's not really anything for me to craft, so I guess I'm just going to bypass time. Well, there's weather systems, so that's nice to see. It looks like we occasionally get dust storms. How's that going to affect my crops? Is it going to do something bad to them? Because I would like for my crops to be healthy and happy and filled with the wisdom beyond their years. Still, it looks like I need to get some water back, so we'll get some water back real quick. Well, the good news is my mom emailed me this morning, and she apparently is very, very worried about my nutritional intake. So she sent me a blueprint for a cooker. So yeah, I think this game is just a really, really slow burner. I've been just passing days, in all honesty. Like, I've just been like, well, if there's nothing going on, I'm going to sleep all day, every day. The same strategy that I have in real life. When I get bored, I sleep. Yeah, but it is going to take a while to process off all these minerals, I think. Especially the huge volume of iron that we are going to need to knock out here. Good news is we have other activities that we kind of need to look into, and it looks like our harvest is ready to go. Yeah, give me them carrots. There we go. We're getting a little bit of roughage along with it, too. It looks like the carrots are actually the only thing that's done right now, but they are replenishing their own seeds. I would make the vacuum suck that the game has that moves items towards you a little bit stronger, just so you don't have to walk around like I did, corralling everything and getting it on into your inventory. Basically, when you click on it and you plant, or you pull it, like the item should sort of fan out a little bit and then suck into the player from a considerable distance in order to make that feel a little bit more satisfying. So you're not trying to walk around picking up 2D sprites off of a 3D surface, which can occasionally suffer from the ailments of perspective. All right, so now that I've given all the plants a real quick grow job, I think we're going to swing on back over, and I think we should be about ready to complete the cooker. It's just been a lot of downtime. I think that's my one main observation about the game, is that this is not a game that moves quickly. This is a game that maybe is like a little bit too slow in the beginning portions, but it does seem like every single day there's like maybe a new task to go do, or at least a cutscene that happens before you get up and you start doing your random mundane tasks. I think that lack of interaction from the game with the player may end up being a little tiny bit alienating for some people. It definitely seems to be leaning more in the direction of being a very slow-paced, do-it-yourself sandbox than something like Stardew Valley, which is all about using the narrative in order to pitch the game world to the player. That's not to imply that there are, no fun things that happen in this game when it comes to dialogue. There are. There's a couple that I've edited out, actually, while I've just been passing days to get to where I want to go, because I'm much more interested in the mechanical aspects of the game. Like, I'm a sandbox gamer, so my observations are usually... I don't tend to care about narrative-related things. That's just kind of the way that I am with games, is I usually skip most storylines. I usually smash the space bar to get back to gameplay. Stuff like that. I'm not proud of it, but narrative is not a big draw for me in video games. It's largely because I watch a lot of movies, always have been a big cinephile, and so at a certain point you start to see the commonalities and the similarities between all stories. All stories kind of follow a blueprint, and once you lock in on that blueprint, everything becomes kind of predictable, I guess, which is probably why I don't really care about narrative elements too much anymore, is because, I can see it coming. But there are narrative elements here. If we had potatoes, we could make winter root stew. It does look like we have the capability right now to start manufacturing our own food, which is good, because it's probably only going to be a matter of time before all of my weird... Dude, I bet that thing, it looks like it tastes like toothpaste, man. It looks like, doesn't it kind of look like it probably tastes a little bit like toothpaste? Like you take a bite and your teeth get a little tiny bit whiter, man. It's definitely some kind of minty flavor, and I'm not a big minty guy. Unless it's Altoids. I'm weird about Altoids. I always have multiple containers of Altoids on my desk, because I do like Altoids. But other mint-related things I don't actually go for. No mint ice cream, not... It's like eating ice cream while brushing your teeth. I don't like it. Mint flavors are not a big draw from me. Except for Altoids. That's the one weird thing, is that I like Altoids. Can't explain it. One detail I do like is the plants wiggle when you walk through them, so that's good. However... No, it does. Okay. They're still moving. I was going to say, do they, let's say I get on top of one plant and then I just go back and forth like that, but then again, it looks weird with the camera, so maybe I'm just fishing here. I was just kind of seeing how the game interacts. We've got another dust storm here today, so I think I'm just waiting for the next narrative event to let me off the leash. Part of me feels a little bit bad because I'm basically just skipping days while eating at this point to get to the next object that they're going to allow me to build. That sort of implies a little bit of a pacing problem to me, but we did just get something in the mail. What does this say? All right, dear steward, recruitment is vital to a successful colony. New residents will run shops, give you upgrades, offer essential services that we're legally required to provide. And so here at the Outreach Committee, we have managed volunteers, colonists, and recommend them to star stewards. Okay. Aaron Hernandez has degrees in electrical and environmental engineering from Rexburg University. He will assist with your electrical infrastructure and maintenance and arrive in 2 days. It looks like we'll also be notified that we are officially a star steward, and we just got our first paycheck for $500. You love to see it. It says this guy's going to get here in 2 days, so I'm just going to, sleep twice, I think. Oh, I forgot to water my crops. That's okay. I think I've got, 920 billion carrots, so I think we'll be good. But I'm going to pass time so that we can at least see how the colonial stuff happens. And the other good piece of news is that it looks like the remainder of my crops have come in. It doesn't look like the leeks have gotten here, but the potatoes definitely arrived. Doesn't look like I can mess around with the milk thistle either. So let me just replant real quick so that we're not wasting our time here. I want to have like maximum uptime because it looks like we're going to be doing exports and sort of like sending them out. Hey, is this our new guy? I'm not alone anymore. I've got somebody that I can rub butt cheeks with. Another person, welcome. I know you got my resume, but I'm Aaron. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm your electrical engineer. There's nothing better than an engineer who's a bit engineered himself. Anyways, that's what it says on my galactic ID. And Pa says there's nothing quite like a good handshake to start off a friendship. Just a friendship, dude. It's a little early for that. I don't want to end up in the HR audit. You're gonna get us put in the HR office again, man. He just got here. Pleasure to meet you. All jokes about rubbing butts aside, that was before he landed out of the earshot of everybody else for humorous value. Pleasure's all mine. You know what? I get the feeling that this place is going to be a good home. After I'm done with it, that is. It's looking kind of rough at present. No offense. Anyways, on to more important matters. The Pan-Galactic Parliament sent me here to help you out. Why? I don't know. But it's not for me to question their wisdom. I'm just here to do my work. Speaking of which, I need to get settled in. I've got a lot to unpack and preliminary scans to conduct, so we can talk a little bit later. Can we talk? I'm going to walk right. We're going to talk now. What's up, buddy? My lander terminal is broken. Can you take a look at it? Yeah, just need some percussive maintenance. I'll take a look. I'll fix it by noon tomorrow, assuming there's no surprises. Sweet. Oh, wow, this guy's got all kinds of plants and stuff. That's not what I expected from, like, an electrical engineer. But I suppose an electrical engineer can also enjoy gardening. There's no mutual exclusivity right there. My observations so far. I've been playing the game for about an hour, and I think I'm going to cut the video off right here. But my observations are that visually and graphically the game is doing a very good job. I like the soundtrack, and I like the sound effects that they've selected. However, I did find the game's pacing to be a little tiny bit slow. Anytime your player is just kind of like getting up, eating food, watering crops, going back to bed over and over and over again to get to the next breadcrumb trail, that sort of implies to me that there's a little bit of a pacing issue. Ideally, the player should have enough things to do that they will be working on those things nonstop as other things are unfolding for them to do in the background, thus creating sort of a to-do list, I guess. And with this game, it was kind of like after I watered my crops every day, if I didn't really have anything to smelt, like, I guess I'll just go back to bed, I guess. Other problems I ran into, the UI is much too large. I would love to see an option to scale this down to 50% size and also 25% size. This size is perfectly fine for people that may have some kind of visual impairment or a difficulty seeing numbers in text and whatnot, but for me this is much, much, much too large. Also, I found the camera to be kind of constraining. So those are my three things. You can't zoom the camera in, you can't zoom the camera out. I would like to be able to do that because it seems to be much too zoomed in for me personally. But those are my initial impressions and observations. As far as settings go, it does look like everything is rekey bindable over here, so that's probably... Is it? It looks like maybe it's not implemented yet, but these are actively buttons right here, which implies that it will be rekey bindable, so I'm guessing it's not done yet because early access. And other than that, all we have is a sound mixer, so pretty thin as far as options go, but really for like a 2D sprite game, how much options do you actually need, I guess? As it stands right now, those are my observations. Game unfolds a little bit slowly to the point that I was just eating and sleeping to see what the next thing that was going to happen is. Camera is too tight. It could afford to be zoomed out a little bit further. UI is much too large. And actually, I think that comparing this to Stardew Valley is probably a bad idea. Comparing it to Stardew Valley may lead to disappointing expectation, because Stardew Valley is a game that constantly was hitting you with stimuli at the beginning and kind of like unfolding things. This feels much more sandboxy to me, like go find something to do and occasionally we will prod you with like a quest goal or something else like that. For now, it's early access, so I'll keep an eye on it for you. If after this video you're not sure that it's a game you want to go in on, totally fair. Absolutely fair. It's never a bad idea to wait and watch with early access projects and kind of see what happens with the reviews and what happens with it as it goes through its content. But I have been a fan of the graphics, the sprite work, the sound effects, the characterization so far. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'll see y'all later. My name is Splaattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games so that you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we were messing around with a little bit of One Lonely Outpost. I will catch you all later. Thank you for sharing your time with me, and I gots to go. Bye, folks.